Thank you for joining us today, Miss Jenny. I am Alice from the HR office, and I will just be asking a few questions so you could just tell us about your life and how we, the younger ones, can grow up in the right path just like you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So, can you share with us what's your earliest memory of your childhood?
My earliest memory is probably being in a busy family. I was the youngest of 4 kids. And it seemed like there was always a lot going on. And my oldest brother's 10 years older than me, and then I have a brother 8 years, and my sister's 6 years older than me. So there was a lot of going on. We lived in Northern California in the Bay Area.
What are some of your favorite childhood games?
Wow, childhood games. Okay. So when I was fairly young, we moved overseas. Okay. And my father got a job in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And I remember learning how to play. Well, first of all, I didn't have a television, so I had to play a lot of games. And I played a lot of the American board games that we brought, Parcheesi, checkers, things like that. But I also learned a game called Mancala.
Oh, okay.
Where you take stones and you put them in little
round holes.
Yeah, round holes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you pick them up and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I have an idea.
And I loved playing that because I could count, and I was very proud of my ability to count.
Were there any special holiday traditions or like birthdays that you guys celebrated?
So my mother was a great baker, so she would make very, very fancy cookies for most occasions, especially Christmas. And she would decorate my cakes for my birthday, and I was the youngest little girl, so we would what did we do for holiday? Well, then when we moved overseas, we celebrated with our Ethiopian friends a lot of the holidays there, and they were in Ethiopia was it's one of the oldest countries that was not colonized. I mean, colonized. It was occupied by the Italians during World War II, but it was never colonized. It was not a colony of Britain.
Okay. Well, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh. I wanted to be a lot of different things. I think a teacher was one of the things early on I thought about. And then as I grew older, I think I was interested in medicine. One of the medical professions or something like that.
Okay. So what was your first job?
Had nothing to do with medicine. My first job, so I worked on campus when I was at Stanford University. I had a lot of jobs. My parents were overseas. I hashed food at the dining hall. But when I was a teenager, I babysat some. Okay. But I worked at the medical center at Stanford. And then when I got a real job that paid, I worked for the United States government.
Okay. So tell me about your closest friends.
My closest friends, okay. So I have some friends going way back. The friends from my childhood are more of acquaintances, but early in adulthood, I suppose I made my closest friend in the world, who lives in Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And she and I have kept up for 45 years. Yeah.
That's nice.
We rode a van pulled together from Baltimore to Washington every day. She worked for an association and I worked for the government.
What was your job with the U.S. government?
So I had a few jobs. I went from different departments. And I worked for a long time at the Pentagon, and I was there on 9/11. But actually, almost in reaction to that, I looked for a job outside. At another agency, and I worked for the National Institutes of Health. And there, I worked on with the grant giving committees, the people who review all the research that comes in and decides what's meritorious enough to be funded. Mm-hmm. And as you know, there's never enough money for the number of grant applications that there are. Recently, things have changed a lot, so it's very frightening actually. But when I was there, I worried about who would be on these panels, whether they had conflicts of interest, and it was a really fascinating job. You really hear about all the cutting edge research. I think when I was leaving, I remember they came through with their breakthroughs on sickle cell anemia, which was very exciting.
Sounds very interesting. Okay, can you share with us what your happiest moment of your life was?
Well, this is a common answer, but I think when I had my daughters.
Oh.
I think I didn't have children until I was 35, and I was, my husband and I have 2 daughters. I was married when I was young. I didn't have any children, but the births of Sarah and Katie were probably the happiest I'd ever been.
Okay. So if you were to be writing your life story, what would you call the chapters?
Oh boy. So I would say early on, it was a non-conventional kind of upbringing. I learned a lot about the world. I learned a lot about how small America is in the world's perspective. In a world perspective. And how privileged I was to come from where I did. So it was unconventional. Then I would say that I had a particularly challenging adolescence and early adulthood because I'm a very sensitive person, and I had to move around a lot. And as I got older, it was harder and harder to adjust. Especially I moved between my freshman and, 8th grade, and then when I was a sophomore, I moved to a different country to finish up. So that was a tough time, and I had mental health struggles. Definite mental health struggles. And then after lots of help, I was always highly functional, but I don't think I really found my groove until later. And so then there were the years of working every day, all day, almost 40 years with the government, and finding exercise is my thing. So that also freed me, I think, to be more the person I was, and I was able to raise my children with my husband. And we had a long-term goal, so perseverance was the name of that chapter. And and now I'm able to retire comfortably, which I'm very grateful for. I'm very upset about the nation right now, but I'm very, personally, I'm quite content.
What advice would you give to your younger self today?
Oh boy, that almost makes me cry. Don't be so hard on yourself. Relax more. Slow down. I would have given myself advice about that sensitivity can be both a curse and a blessing, and to understand that better, because I think I thought when I perceived things, I thought things were messages to me, which is kind of a self-centeredness. But I also was able to read. Sometimes I had it right.
So what are you looking forward to now in this new chapter?
New chapter. So I'm looking to live a meaningful life in my older years. I moved here younger than most anyone else. My husband is 11 and a half years older than me. He has many more health struggles than I have. So I want to be supportive. I also want to be involved in the community here. I try to give back as much as I can. I'm a neighborhood rep, and next year I'm going to be the secretary of the council, and I try to do things in that way, and to stay as active as I can possibly stay, which is maybe too active, I don't know, but I do. I do something every day, and I try to do things for different, whether it be my bones or my heart or my flexibility. All those things. So I'm very fortunate because I'm having some issues with arthritis, but that's about the extent of it.
Okay. Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time, Ms. Jenny.